there were tens of thousands of people around the world celebrating, and several of them were in New York and New Jersey.
It can't be explained.
Are these people happy? Are they joyous now? Are they celebrating?
Oh, absolutely. They're celebrating. There's one report, several witnesses who say this happened. They got on the roof of the building to look across. They knew what was going to happen. Yeah. They were waiting for it to happen, and when it happened, they celebrated. They jumped for joy to see this happen. It was a great triumph. It's inconceivable to me and to you, but David, this is what we have to understand as a country. We're not dealing with the kind of thing we dealt with in any war we've ever fought before, because we've never dealt with these kinds of hateful, to-the-core, evil people.
Suspects who I'm told were cheering on the roof when they saw the plane slam into the trade center. Police were called to the building by other neighbors and found 8 men celebrating, 6 of them tenants in the building. The FBI and other terrorist task force agencies then arrived, and the older investigators on the task force recalled that they had been to this building before, 8 years ago, when the first World Trade Center attack led them to Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman, whose Jersey City mosque lies between the 2 buildings getting attention today. And the older investigators remembered that suspects who eventually got convicted for the first Trade Center case, followers of Sheikh Rahman, lived in the building where these same 8 men were celebrating the destruction that they saw from the roof. Calling this a hot address, the task force investigators ordered everyone detained, and they saw something else. A model of the Trade Center on the roof, along with sets of binoculars. The kind of model used by an architect or an engineer for a presentation, an investigator told me. They knew, he said, that the planes were going to hit, and they wanted a ringside seat. Remember, part of what motivates Osama bin Laden against the United States, he has told followers, is that the United States put Sheikh Rahman in jail. Bin Laden has said that for that, the U.S. must pay.
Yeah.
Todd?
Pavel, it's absolutely chilling, the fact that they were sitting there waiting, watching, as if getting ready to celebrate the fact that the Twin Towers would topple.
We did have some celebrating. That is true. We had pockets of celebration, some in Queens, some in Brooklyn.
How many people?
10, 12, 30, 40.
And those weren't just rumors. Those weren't just reports.
No.
You went out and checked them out.
We had one situation in which a candy store owned by a Muslim family was celebrating that day right near a housing development, and the kids in the housing development came in and beat them up. And I think both facts were corroborated to be true. That they were celebrating that the towers had come down.
During celebrations in New Jersey, Bernie Kerik, who was the New York City police commissioner during the attacks and was born in New Jersey, confirmed there were reports of celebrations in several New Jersey towns in a phone interview with One America.
There were celebrations in Brooklyn, around Atlantic Avenue, in Queens, Patterson, New Jersey, I think Jersey City as well.
A lot of people, and they were just chanting and raving, and I noticed that they were holding things. They were holding like rocks and sticks, and they were saying "Burn America." And
news reports about Jersey City. They said people were on the roofs watching the planes fly in. They were tipped off prior to the thing, and this was a narrative that was going on. I remember video.
This video from New York radio talk show host Curtis Sliwa.
People celebrating, cheering, when they had actually heard that the World Trade Center had struck.
On Twitter, Sliwa confirmed celebrations took place.
We did have some reports.
Yes.
Of people celebrating that day while the towers were coming down. But if people were celebrating, he's right about that.
I do have distinct recollection of having reported to me by the police a number of incidents, several. I'll read to you from an article, September 14th, 2001, Fred Siegel, New York Post. This is back then.
Okay.
Here in New York, it was easy to get angry listening to Egyptians, Palestinians, and the Arabs of nearby Patterson, New Jersey, celebrate as they receive word of the murderous attacks in New York and Washington. But Mayor Giuliani, who has been tireless and magnificent in this crisis, rightly warned New Yorkers that it would be wrong to take that anger out on the city's Arab and Muslim residents. Attacks on Arab Americans in Patterson or elsewhere are utterly indefensible. And over the years, I've had people report to me things like that there were celebrations. I had a person call me today and tell me that his friend was in a cab and the Muslim cab driver was celebrating when he heard about it.
So the only mistake...
there were a couple of these incidents where the Muslims were celebrating and people attacked them. People, in other words, interchanged with them. Because there certainly were celebrations.
So when Chris Christie said that there were not...
Well, I think this is...
Or he didn't recall it.
This is getting... I understand.
You know what? And Brett, I actually remembered things like that. I remember, because I live one town away from one of the towns where there, according to my neighbors, they saw it with their own two eyes. There were people celebrating. And I also remembered there was video on television. I don't know that it was from that town or from New Jersey. But nonetheless, Donald Trump says that there are a lot of people out there who have verified the idea of his story.
Yes, people were celebrating in some number in New Jersey, some and in the United States. Most attacks. Did it happen in New Jersey? Of course.